Okay, so we were a little ambitious on Friday, but that's okay. It's all good. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get back up to speed, and we're going to do a quick review, and we're going to do all of the things that we did in class on Friday, and then I'm going to take you past that to the point where we should have finished on Friday. So I need you to get all of this done this week. Then in class on Friday, what we're going to do is we are going to work on our homework assignment, and then your homework is still going to be due on Tuesday. Okay, so it's going to be due on Tuesday the 29th. I think that's right. Let me check the date real quick. Tuesday the 29th. That's when it's going to be due. Okay, so the first thing I need you to do is launch Eclipse and make sure that you are opening up your workspace MMCRFT Forge Eclipse. Okay? Okay, so when Eclipse launches, it will look something like this. There may be some files over here. Just go ahead and close those if it's the example mod. If it's stuff that we did in class, you don't need to close them necessarily, but I am going to start with the stuff that we did in class. So in class, when we started, we only had one waffle, right? And so these are for organization only. They're called packages. We are going to create a new package in our project that reflects who we are, not necessarily com.example. Now, what you want to do is you're going to type org.arccup.forge.mods. So this will tell you that within this domain of org.arccup, we can guarantee uniqueness of our objects. We're not going to have repeated objects that are going to cause conflicts, and it's not going to know which object you're talking about. Okay, that's the point of a package, is to create organization and disambiguation. That means to make things less confusing. So within our domain of org.arccup, we'll call it, we are working on Forge and mods. So we are going to click finish, and that is going to create a new package for us. Now you'll notice that the waffle we created is white, and the waffle up here is brown, and that is because the brown one has classes in it. You only have this class. This was me trying to experiment a little bit. So this was a brown waffle means that you have stuff in your package, and the white means that it's empty. So we don't want it to be empty. We want to create a new class. At any point, you could pause the video to catch up. You can rewind. That's why it's on video, so that you have some flexibility and you can repeat the things that need to be repeated. You can pause where you need more time. So make sure that you're doing that instead of trying to getting stressed out because you're falling behind, okay? So at this point, most people should be here because most of us were able to get at least this far. So we need our first class that we're going to define. We are going to call main. We're going to keep all the defaults. Notice that it's in our new package that we defined, and we're going to click finish. Now we will see that our main.java is here, and our waffle is now brown. So there's something in our package, so the icon turns brown. This little picture is called an icon. The icon turns brown. So over here in our main.java, we see the package that we specified. This is the same as this, okay? So whatever's here will be here. And then we have the name of our class. So this is our rectangle, right? We have a rectangle, and the name at the top is main, okay? So inside of that, we want to tell, but we want to define some variables. These are some adjectives that are describing our noun main. So we have public, static, final, string, mod ID, and we are going to set that equal to last name, first name, which, you know, mine is not Mrs., but it's good enough. And mod, and we end all assignment statements with a semicolon. So remember, this is an assignment, has the equal sign, and you're saying that this variable, whose name is mod ID, is being assigned the value that is inside of these quotes. Brock-Mrs-mod. Okay? So, whenever the program is referencing mod ID, it's a placeholder for this value. Okay? So, we want a couple more of these. Public static final string version, and the value for our variable named version is going to be 1.0. We have another public static final string name, and this will be the display name on our mod. So if we do Mrs. Brock's mod, so you would do your first name, last name, apostrophe S mod for this class. I need you to follow directions and make sure that you're not getting creative. There will be time to get creative, but right now I need you to do what I'm asking you to do. So now that we have these variables defined for our main class, we are going to do something specific to Minecraft. And this @ symbol here is called an annotation. And really all it does is it tells Minecraft that, hey, this class right here, this is defining a mod. And so then it's going to handle this class in the way that it handles mods. So there are a few things that it needs. It needs to know the mod ID. And we get that from accessing our main class dot variable name. Remember, we talked about dot notation. So the way that you access the adjectives on the nouns is to say noun dot adjective, right? So we have an attribute called mod ID on the class main. So the way we access that is we say main dot mod ID. And we do this so that anything that's referencing the mod ID can just reference the variable, the placeholder, and we don't have to worry about changing this value in 14 places if there are 14 things asking for main.mod ID. So we have one place that we define it, and then we just say, hey, whatever that value is, that's what we want. So then the mod also needs to know the version. So we're going to type version equals, and then we're going to access that one by doing main dot version. So and then we also need the name, and we are going to access that by doing main dot name. So here you can see that for a mod, it needs a mod ID, a version, and a name. So we could have called these A, B, and C, and it wouldn't make any difference because all we would do up here is access A, B, and C. But this is not helpful because it doesn't tell you anything from a programming perspective when you're looking at it. So we need to make sure that when we do variables that they mean something to us so that it makes the code more readable and easier to understand. So we named our variable mod ID, and we are accessing the mod ID here and assigning it to this mod ID. Now we did the same for version and name. Now one thing is, I think it doesn't want that. I'm sorry. The annotation does not get a semicolon at the end of it. Assignment statements do, mods do not, annotations do not. So, but it is complaining, as you can see right here, because we don't have this mod annotation defined. So the way that we do that is we either Control-Shift-O if you're on Windows, or possibly Command-Shift-O if you're on a Mac. As you can see, that added an import statement, and it imported something called mod. This has the definition for that annotation in it. So that is as far as we got for our main.java class, but then we came along and we added one more class. Now we go back to right click, new, and class. And up comes our new Java class window. And then we type in our name, and the name for our next class is going to be Block Break Handler. Now, just about everything in Minecraft, maybe everything, but I'm afraid to be that absolute about it, so I'm going to say just about everything. It is all based on events that happen. And so we want to create things that handle certain events. So in this case, we are going to handle the block break event. We're going to just keep the defaults. Again, you should see that our package is org.artcoop.forge.mods. We click finish, and that gives us, now we have two Java files under here. And again, if we look under main, you'll see class main, and you'll see the attributes there. And here under block break handler, we have nothing under there because it's a completely empty class at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the method called send message that is actually going to send a message to the chat window whenever a block is broken. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create our method. So we're going to do public void. Whenever you are doing adding methods to handlers in Minecraft, you're always going to use public and void. Public tells you who can access it. Everybody can access it. Void is the return type. There's never a return type. So then the name of our method is send message. Now remember, these are the verbs. These are the things that our nouns know how to do. So our block break handler knows how to send a message, and it receives a break event, if I can type correctly. So the type is break event. This is another rectangle. It's a break event rectangle. It's a break event noun, a break event object. And our variable name is going to be event. Now see, it doesn't like this break event, and that's because we haven't told it which break event we're talking about. So again, Control-Shift-O or Command-Shift-O, whatever is appropriate for your hardware, will import this for you. Along the way, you guys need to be saving your files so that you don't lose your changes. So anyway, so we're going to go back down here to our send message. Now, because this is an event handler, we have another annotation that we want to give to Minecraft that tells Minecraft that we want to subscribe to an event. Okay, again, we're going to Control-Shift-O to import that subscribe event object that defines this annotation. And so when we subscribe to an event, this tells Minecraft what method is going to be subscribed, and this tells Minecraft what event is going to trigger this method. Okay, so when this event happens, this method is going to be executed, and it's going to be given the object, the event object that executed that particular event. Okay, so I believe this is the point we got to in class. So everybody should be good up to here. Now, this is where we move ahead. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to take a look at what we can get from our event. So remember, this is our break event rectangle, and we're just going to take a look at a few things. So we have some members: position, state, world, So the position of the block of where the block event happened, the state of the block, was it destroyed? Was it just weakened? The world that it happened in. Then you have some methods. These are some verbs. Equals. Get experience to drop. Get the player. Get the result. Does it have a result? Is it cancelable? Can we cancel this event? Can we keep that block from breaking? Set canceled. Set the experience to drop. Set the result. So you can see there's lots of verbs on a break event. So the one that we're interested in is the player, because it's through the player that we are going to get the chat message. We want to send the chat message to the player. So we need the player in order to send the chat message. So this player, if you go to that G and you hit Control Space, that will show you the list from the event object. Remember, pause where you need to pause, rewind if you need to rewind. So get player, we can see that returns an object of type entity player. So if we're going to store the player, we've got to have an entity player, and our variable name is going to be player. It could even be my player if we wanted my player, but we're just going to do player. So again, we need to import this particular object. We need to tell the program that that we are using this particular object. Okay, so again, we're going to do Control-Shift-O so that we can import that entity player. You can see it's highlighted at the top here, entity player. So now we can take a look at our player object. Let's see, player. If we look at the player rectangle, right? This is our rectangle, the name player at the top. We've got attributes, which are like the adjectives. This one has a ton of attributes because there's a lot of stuff we want to know that the player knows about itself. And then it has all these are attributes. It's crazy how many there are. Then there are methods, which are the verbs. So you can see the first thing that we have here is add chat component message, and that's the one that we want to do. So we want to be able to add a message to that when they break a block. Okay, so what we're going to do is it needs a chat component. So we don't really have a chat component, so we need to make one. So we're going to change this though to chat message. That's our variable name that we're going to use. And see, it's complaining because we haven't defined what chat message is yet. So what we're going to do is right up here before, we're going to create the variable chat message. Now we're going to do it chat component text chat message. So now we've defined what this chat message is. That one goes away. Still complaining about this one. Can you guess why? Because we need to import it. We need to tell the program which chat component text we're using. And so we do our Control-Shift-O or our Command-Shift-O, and it imports our chat component text. So we can't just say that because that doesn't actually have a value. So we need to assign it a value. The way that we do that is we need to create a new chat component text, and we need to give it a string value. So the way that we specify a string value is we put something in quotes. And what we're going to put in quotes is we're going to put "you broke a block." Okay? So now what's going to happen is when a player breaks a block, we get the player object, we create a new chat component text object, and then we add a chat component message to the player object that is whatever this chat message is. Okay, so that is what is happening on this particular thing. So what we are going to do now is we have our event handled, but the problem is that we have to sort of register it, right? So this is telling us that we need to, it's telling Minecraft that we need to subscribe to an event, but over here in our main.java, we need we need to tell the mod that we have an event handler, okay? So we're going to use our annotation for event handler. And again, it's not going to like that until you Control-Shift-O and import it, although now it's not liking it at all, but I think it's because usually I define the method first. So let's do that. Public void, right? Always public, always void. There's never a return type. Now, on init, that's when this will be called. Initialization event. So again, Control space bar. You can start typing part of it. Control space bar will pull up a list of things for you, and then you can either double click or arrow down and hit enter. So that kind of saves you a little bit of typing. And then we're going to call it our variable event. Now, this variable event is only accessible within these two curly braces. Okay? Even though we have an event over here, that is a different event. Okay? This event is only in these curly braces. You get outside of these curly braces, this event does not exist. It will say it doesn't know what you're talking about. Okay, so over here we're talking about this event in these curly braces, okay? Which we're not really doing anything with the event. When the program initializes, we want to get our Minecraft Forge object, and then we want to get the event bus, because a Minecraft Forge has an event bus. This is a property on an object. We have a rectangle. One of the properties is event bus. Okay. Now our event bus is an object, and so it has some properties and it also has some methods. So the method we want to call, the verb we want the event bus to do, is we want to register. We need to register our handler. So what we do is we give it a new block break handler object. Okay. Now we still need to Control-Shift-O to get our event handler complaint dealt with. So here's our event handler object. So on init, you notice over here in your example mod, they did on init, they did something. Now it didn't do much. It just printed out dirt block and then dirt, the word dirt. But over here, we're actually going to, on init, we're going to actually register, and then we're going to give it a handler. We have to give it a new object. This is just the definition for a block break handler. This is actually giving it an object. So we'll save that and we will run it, because this will take just a minute. I'm going to pause my video so that you don't have to sit through all that, but it will take a minute for you, and that's okay. Okay, so when Minecraft does launch, if you go into mods, you will see down here under example mod, you have Mrs. Brock's mod, actually yours will say your name's mod, 1.0. So that was the name and the version from before. The ID is used internally and you don't ever see the ID unless you don't have a name specified, and then the ID will show up as the name. So that's the first check. If you've gotten that far, continue. If you haven't gotten that far, then you need to go back and rewind the video and figure out where you kind of got off. So then we are going to go into single player. it is important when you're testing your mods, you need to create you need to create a new world. I'm just going to delete some worlds that I had before, because every time you run your mod, you have to create a new world to test it in, okay? So these are not worlds that you're going to be creating and playing Minecraft for a long time on. This is just for your development environment. Later in the semester, we're going to learn how to take those and deploy those install those in your regular Minecraft. This is just the Minecraft that comes with Minecraft Forge, okay, and it's accessed via Eclipse. So, okay, so we're going to create a new world. You just call it new world or test world or whatever you want to do. The game mode doesn't really matter. You can do creative, you can do survival. It's probably best for a while for you to test your code in creative mode, because if you're in survival mode, you might get killed before you get a chance to actually test what you're trying to do. So, create new world, and then that may take a minute because you're in a development environment. So I'm going to pause my video again. Just wait for your stuff to come up. Okay, so we can see that we have our world here, and I'm going to just break some grass here. Hey, I broke a block. Look at that. Now if I go over here and I break that one, break a couple blocks there, you can see what's happening. You can see your message is being sent to your chat window. You broke a block. So that is our first mod. And let me get out of my Minecraft here. So for your homework, that is due a week from tomorrow, okay, you are going to change this text, okay? You're going to turn it into, you're going to change it from "you broke a block" to player name "you broke a block," okay? No, you cannot come up with your own thing to write. You need to follow the instructions that I'm laying out here. Now then, you're going to have to get the player name before you can add the player name here. So remember that when we add strings, right, we use the plus symbol. So if I wanted to do string my message equals you plus broke, I can't spell apparently today, so hopefully you guys can spell better than I can, a block, this will print the exact same thing as this, because it's like you're just adding those values together. So so you're going to need to do, this is called concatenation. If you concatenate two strings, then you add them together. You take the first one and then you put the second one right at the end, as if there were no break, as if it were all one thing. So you're going to have to get the player name from your player object, and you're going to have to add it to a message, a string, to make it look like this, okay? And this player name, I don't want to see anything that actually says, I don't want to see this, okay? I want to see you get the name of the player from the player object, and then I want to see some string concatenation that makes it come together, okay? So if you can do that before class, you are welcome to. We're going to work on it in class. I do recommend that you at least try to do some things before class because, as you know, an hour is not that long. And so I would rather have you in the middle of stuff trying to work out some issues that you're having than to have you looking at it for the first time. Okay? And then also there is a bonus section to the homework. If you get this done and you're all like all kinds of ready to go and ready to do something else, you can add another method so that when a block breaks, you give the player more health, like maybe 0.5 more health. So again, you can ask me questions about that in class. If you get this part done and you want to move on to the bonus part, whatever it is that you're going to turn in is going to be due Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. Okay? So, in order to turn in your homework, you're going to need to turn in this and this. These two Java files right here. The main.java and the block break handler.java. I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to open up my Dropbox folder. Actually, I'm going to do it over here. And I'm going to go to the location on my file system. So if I go to C, I should have an MMCRFT. Look at that. Now then, I go into Forge and Source and Main. Okay? Now, Java. See this source main Java? That's what this is. Okay? Under Forge, we have source main Java. So we go source main Java. Then we have org artcoop forge mods. Org artcoop forge mods. Okay? So then you're going to take and, you know what? Actually, I'm going to make this much more simple. In the source main Java, you're just going to copy your org directory. Just copy that whole directory. So you're going to do a right click and a copy, or a Control C, or a Command C if that's your operating system. So let's do a copy here. And then you're going to go to your Dropbox folder. I have mine installed on my computer. You don't have to. So if I go to Dropbox, then I can go to Minecraft mods, and I'm going to use Sammy Brock as an example. If I paste this in, Control V, it will paste it into the folder. Then I will see that he has shared that with me. So I will see things shared that way. Sammy, sorry, I'm going to delete it. No cheating for you. So that is how you turn it in. Just copy that whole org folder and paste it into your Dropbox structure. And then on Friday we will go over any questions that you have. So happy coding.